Welcome to Life Without Limits, where there are no limits to what you can achieve. My name is Joan Kaler, and I am your host. The information in this podcast is not a substitute for counseling or medical advice. The information is meant to inspire and educate listeners, but not guarantee anything of any kind. For more information on my services, please go to joankaler.com. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Welcome in, everyone, to Life Without Limits, where there are no limits to what you can achieve. My name is Joan Kaler. I'm your host. I'm thrilled that you're here. We have a very important topic to discuss today. I am so thrilled that my guest is here because we're going to talk about parents who have children, adult children who are addicted. Yes. My guest, Mikki Proffitt, has more than 30 years experience in the addiction and recovery field, including a very long career as a high school drug and alcohol counselor. Today, she helps the families of children who struggle with substance abuse, chronic relapse, or emotional challenges to become aware, to wake up and emerge from the fog of denial. I love that phrase. And begin to identify their well-established, long-standing destructive beliefs, behaviors, and patterns within the family system. This opens the door for brave, empowered, and conscious decision-making that leads to healthy and sustainable change, both individually and collectively, regardless of the choices the addicted child does or does not make. And oh, by the way, Mikki is also a practitioner of emotional freedom techniques. So you probably guessed that that was coming too. But her powerful combination of combining EFT tapping with a deep personal and academic knowledge of trauma and family systems helps moms and family members begin to develop tools and strategies that help to strengthen, heal, and take actionable steps. Wait till you hear about the program that Mikki has created. Mikki is also a fitness trainer with tens of thousands of classes under her belt and brings her belief in the healing power of physical movement to her work. So basically, Mikki does it all. She helps heal families. She has a fantastic program. Welcome in, Mikki. I'm so honored to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. We're going to discuss this, definitely. Her new program is called Journey of You, a soulful journey of healing for mothers of addicted children. So those of you out there, mothers, parents who are struggling to find answers because your son or daughter is struggling with addiction and struggling with denial, and maybe you're struggling with a little bit of denial yourselves, Mikki can definitely help you with this. Mikki, I want to do a little bit of the backstory on how you got into helping families with children with addictions. Would you mind sharing your background and the reason why you chose this journey?
Yeah, I think the journey chose me. Okay. After a long journey, personal journey of my own with my own child, my daughter, who began using drugs in high school. And I was completely clueless. That was not part of my lifestyle. I had an older child. That wasn't part of his lifestyle. And really the first message was friends that started hanging out, right, that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And then a birthday party where a mom came storming up to the door and said, "Do you know your daughter's using marijuana?" Well, my daughter is not a child anymore. And I looked at my daughter and just said, "Honey, are you using marijuana?" And she said, "I'm not using marijuana." And I said, "My daughter's not using marijuana." And that was like the path of least resistance. It was like too much information that I wasn't prepared for. And really that night is when our journey began. And 24 years later, it has not ended.
Okay. Is your
Meaning
daughter, she's still
yeah,
on this earth?
she's still on this earth. She has children of her own who are caught in the web of her addictive patterns. And I came by this work as a result of learning how to no longer enable, and really by way of truth, like it was enough. I'd had enough.
Wow. It takes a lot of courage for a parent to get to that point, to say, I've had enough. I'm sure you struggled with, guilt, anger, frustration, every human emotion there is, on trying to find help for her. And
yeah, it was my mission in life, right?
okay.
Everything else was set aside. I went to work. I was working as an addictions counselor, not with at-risk youth at the time. And it became my mission in life because I was going to save her. I was going to fix her. I was going to rescue her. I was going to figure it out. All of those things that she became my addiction ultimately.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you have created this fantastic 8-week program. I don't usually go to websites this early in the conversation, but I feel a need.
Okay.
I feel a need to share this because
Awesome.
this is just amazing. And I'm going to obviously expand this here. So the journey of you. Look at this, everybody. I love this when you say, if you are ready for change, read on. If you are uncertain, read on. Wherever you are, read on. Either way, I am compelled to ask these questions, and I ask that you answer them honestly, knowing from the bottom of my heart what is at stake, if you do or if you don't.
Yes.
And then you ask these such important questions.
They are.
Oh, have you ever been so exhausted from rescuing your child, but are too afraid to stop because if you do, you might lose them for good? Have you suffered in silence because there are no words to explain, express, or describe your pain, your loss, or your shattered dreams? Put your entire life on hold, waiting for your child to get better, get sober, or get help? Felt like you are drowning in guilt and shame for the things your child has done or not done? Waited for the call, letting you know your child has not survived? If you've answered yes to any of these, even one of these questions, this journey is for you. So I am setting the attention. I know we're recording this during COVID-19, but I'm thinking that because of the pandemic, addictions have increased even more than they already were. So if you're going through this time right now, if you have a child that's going through this, if you yourself, here's the deal, you yourself are going through this agony, please visit Mikki's website and consider taking her workshop, because it's an 8-week workshop. And it's all about helping you to release, restore, reclaim, and refill. So I'm just reading directly off the website right now, which is MikkiProffitt.com journey, #journey. But it's so important that you know that there's hope available for you, whether or not your son or daughter chooses to get treatment, chooses to participate, chooses to get clean and sober and do the work themselves.
Yeah.
There is hope for you because you deserve the peace. So I am going back to the top here, and then we will be back to that probably at some point. So you created this program, Mikki, and then you sent me a list of interesting things, because I want to do all the talking here. This is your message to get out to parents out there who are going through the hell of having a child, an adult child with an addiction. And ladies and gentlemen, when we say adult child, this program, Mikki's not working with your son or daughter, Mikki's working with you.
Yes.
So if you have an adult child 18 or up, this is the program for you to consider. It really is. But you sent me a list of things that you asked some of your clients, the questions that they would come up with.
Yeah.
So the first one is, how do couples who have different outlooks survive?
Right. I think that's one of the most important questions and pieces of work that I do with families when I work with them, because so often not only moms and dads experience things different, they have a different relationship with that child. And if they aren't in agreement, then that can sever that relationship, because there's so much at stake. When you're fighting literally, what you feel literally is for the life of your child. And if you aren't on the same page as far as setting boundaries or communicating about speaking the truth, that this is serious and that you can't fix them, then those relationships are on pretty shaky ground, to say the least.
I would imagine that this is one of the main reasons that marriages don't last, is when this disease comes into the family.
Yeah. And I mean, we know when there's a terminally ill child that the statistics are very high for a couple to not make it in their relationship. Well, the same addiction is insidious, right? And it's progressive, and there's so many tricks and lies and deceptions. And one parent might really want to stand firm, and the other parent is saying, I can't do that. I'm not ready. I'll just give them a little cash. It's not very much. Or I think they need to move back in, or they sneak and they don't, they're dishonest with their partner, which then of course creates more trouble. So it's very complicated. And so my goal is to, when I go into a home and meet with a family, we look at what's not working, and then we begin that open, honest dialogue of how to begin that conversation and come to, even if we come to 2 or 3 agreements collectively, that's better than no agreements.
Wow. Oh my gosh, we are soul sisters with all this. Another question that someone asked is, when is it time to let go, and what the heck does that mean?
Right? I know. I always say, who in the heck wants to learn to detach with love? Where did that term come from? And I think letting go is the process, right? Because what does that mean? For example, this time, if your child gets arrested, do you bail them out? Maybe you don't. That's one step in the right direction of letting go. How letting go means letting your child experience the natural consequences. Maybe it's not tracking them in their car. Maybe it's not going out in the middle of the night to make sure they're at their drug dealers so you know they're safe, and sitting outside the home just to make sure you know your child's safe. That happens. I have clients that have done that. Letting go means speaking the truth. Like, I'm scared to death my child isn't going to survive. I'm scared to death I'm doing this wrong. Letting go means not holding secrets.
Yep.
Letting go means coming into the journey program because you want to do things different and you don't know how.
Oh, I think that's a big one. You don't know how.
Oh, right.
Because, I mean, up until this point, I can refer people where I am in Pennsylvania to Alateen, Al-Anon, to join with families that have addictions. But really, I don't know that that's enough. I don't know that they get all the tools that they need.
I don't believe it's enough.
I respect the program, but I don't think it's enough.
No, because there's some really big decisions. And if you don't have both, if there are 2 parents, even if they're divorced, if you don't have them working in cooperation with one another, you've got a problem on your hands, because the addicted child will zero in on that parent that is not standing their ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a guarantee. And so in Al-Anon, I love Al-Anon, and I refer parents to Al-Anon. But the interesting thing for me is it's all about the addict in Al-Anon. What I'm trying to do is get away from the addict and put the focus on the family.
Okay. Yes. Beautiful. Ah. So looking at, I love this one, this distortion. When my child gets better, I will feel better, or I will be better. If you wait for that.
Oh boy. And that is so common. And it's more of an undercurrent sometimes even. It's just that false hope. Or that, like my girlfriend and I were out hiking last weekend and we got on the wrong trail. And we were talking about this program and this interview. And it was like, just around that corner, it's going to be better. Just around the corner, we'll find where we're going. And we never did, you know? And so we had to turn around. But isn't that so common for families with an addicted child? This time we're sure the treatment's going to work.
Yes.
They got a job. Oh, they told me they want to quit, right? They detoxed at my house. So I know they're on the right path, you know? And so whatever the addiction is, from drugs and alcohol to food to, you know, whatever, there's a whole plethora. And so, and we look at, I call it, we're served up a little crumb and we look at it as the whole loaf, and we take that crumb and latch onto it for dear life, just knowing that this time it's going to be different.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be that their child is addicted to drugs and alcohol. It can be an addiction of any sort.
It can be because an addiction is an addiction.
Okay,
you know, a drug is a drug is a drug. Yeah.
We can expand this to gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, oh man, there's so whatever, some food,
Food.
sex, whatever
Right.
someone is addicted to.
Right. And we know in addiction that where there's one, there's usually multiple, correct? I mean, like if you don't treat the underlying issue, then it's just going to come out sideways. And I have parents whose child may have started cutting or, you know, skipping school or things, all of those red flags. And then it goes into maybe drinking, and then it turns into something else and another form of addictive behavior. And so again, not focusing on that child, but what is that parent doing to perpetuate that, and how can they step out of the way of that child?
Mikki, what about gaming?
Mm-hmm.
I've had some clients whose children, adult children, have been addicted to gaming.
100%. That's on the increase, and I don't think it's in the DSM-5 yet, but I think it will be. Do you know if it's in the DSM-5?
I don't think yet, but
yeah,
I'm not an expert in that area, but I'm thinking, boy, that is, you take somebody away from a video game or that interaction with other people.
Right. And it changes their brain chemistry, and parents oftentimes think that that's the lesser of, you know, two evils, so to speak. In fact, it's not. And working in a therapeutic boarding school with older teens, it was becoming more and more common for gaming to be the addiction.
So everyone, this is not just about drugs and alcohol. No. Any situation that has created an addiction, Mikki can help you learn how to disengage from this.
Right.
Okay. Oh, right. Ooh, this next one. What are the secrets that mom is keeping from herself, her family, and her friends?
Right, for sure. And I consider secrets to be those unspoken words that we don't want to say to ourselves, like, I'm in over my head, I need help, or calling a friend to say, I'm afraid, I don't know what to do, or calling as a treatment center, or me, you know, a clinician, because addiction is all about isolation and lies, right? If addiction can keep you separate from anybody else, then it's winning. And so it's time for me. My whole platform is it's time to speak up and break the silence. As a mom of an addicted child, I didn't even know who to talk to. sometimes I'd get pray more, you know, ground her more, punish her less. I mean, there's so many mixed messages, and it's not like we don't try every single one of them 100 times.
Yep.
Right.
My area of specialization is with trichotillomania, and I consider that to be an addiction, hair pulling.
Right.
Because when somebody gets into it, that's it. And oftentimes I'll get parents with a teen or an adult child, and I'll say, tell me something. Are you here because you want to be here, or are you here because your parents want you to be here, or
Right.
or your mother wants you to be here?
Right.
And then I asked them that question in private, and I said, no worries on this. I just need you to be honest. So if they say, I'm here because my mother dragged me here, then I thank you very much for your honesty. I have them stay out in the waiting room, bring the parents in, and I talk to them about what they need to do for themselves because their son or daughter isn't ready yet.
Right. And we can't, as parents, want it more than our child.
Okay. Yes. Oh, beautiful.
Right. We can't want it. We can't inflict enough pain on ourselves to reduce or eliminate their pain. We can't shame ourselves, guilt ourselves, blame ourselves enough. Nothing is going to, we don't have the power to change our child.
Oh, say that again. We don't have the power to change our child. Yes.
And, you know, and I think if you even think back when they're little, right? If they didn't want, this is the example I use, if they don't want to eat their peas, they are not going to eat their peas, right? Even as little toddlers. And so we get so convinced that somehow we can control it or convince them or change them or control them. And even control is subtle. Like, I'm just going to put a tracker on their car. They won't know, but I'll know. And that's the secret.
Okay. Okay. Oh, geez. Oh, addiction is when someone calls me, whatever the problem is, I'll say, you know, this problem doesn't affect just you, it affects the whole family.
Yes.
So I really want to be working with the whole family. And then I'll get from a parent, nobody ever told me that before. My son or daughter just goes in, talks, and then comes back out again. I go, no, 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 no. No, they will have time to talk to me alone, but then you're going to come back in and we're going to create a plan.
Right. Right. And that's what I found is parents don't have a voice, right, in their child's recovery, even oftentimes when they're a minor, or the kind of voice that is heard because it's about the addict again and not about the family. And addiction is considered a big T trauma. So we have a family who's living in constant trauma, right? Fight, flight, freeze.
Now, before I forget this, because then I'm going to give myself 30 lashes with a wet noodle. So you're taking emotional freedom techniques, which is tapping. And if there's anybody out there that still doesn't know what EFT tapping is all about, it's tapping on acupressure points to release trauma, to help with cognitive shifts. But Mikki, just briefly explain how you use EFT tapping.
Yeah, for sure.
Program.
So I have several facets to my program. One is individual work with each family member, sometimes weekly, right? And that's where I use EFT because that's where we get to really get into the underlying emotions and belief systems around not only the addicted child, but their own personal life, right? We know it all goes together. I also do what's called a family vention, and that's where I go into the home of the family and I spend at least a day, sometimes 2 days, and we look at boundaries and the family system and among anything else that might come up for the family, what the free passes are. As an example, well, it's Christmas, so of course we're going to invite our child over, even if they're high, right? So we talk about free passes, no more free passes. Like, we have to take that safety net out and let natural consequences. But all of that to say, there are you know, 5 people in a room, all coming with a different experience, only life experience and experience with that addicted child who loves that child. And so emotions rise, tensions rise, tears flow. So I use EFT in the family vention to calm everything down and to make sure everybody stays safe at every juncture of the family vention.
And EFT tapping is just about sending a very subtle current of electricity through acupressure points, the same points that acupuncturists use, only we don't use needles. And then that helps to calm the amygdala, lower the cortisol, release the negative emotion, assist in a cognitive shift. It's a mind, body, it's somatic. One of the most fantastic interventions that anyone can use. There are over 50 controlled double-blind studies on the science of EFT. And if anybody has any questions on this, just go to my website, joankaler.com, and then look for specific tapping. And there's a whole video about the science of tapping. So this has a lot of science behind it. In my humble opinion, I mean, there may be some others, but I think that emotional freedom techniques and EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, are the 2 most fabulous methods for healing trauma. I just can't imagine anything else. And I am not trained in EMDR, but I highly respect that modality. So that and EFT, as far as I'm concerned, that's it when it comes to healing trauma.
I always say it's very effective and efficient, far more
Yes.
than just talking about things. And I like effective and efficient because it lets people make progress faster.
Wow. I mean, golly nuts, I could talk to you all day. What I want to encourage everyone to do is know that Mikki offers this program, The Journey of You. It's starting very soon, so I'm going to get this up ASAP. It's launching this weekend, you said?
It is Saturday. So it's Wednesdays. I call it a touch point where the participants, it's an hour, we touch base, make sure everybody's on track. And then Saturday is the new chapter, if you will, of what we're going to be learning. And I'm including EFT, of course, breath work, movement, and then different topics each week, and all participants get one-on-one EFT sessions with me as well.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we've got week 1, preparing the journey, the orientation. Week 2, the dance of addiction, roles, relationships, and systems. Week 3, truth, the road to freedom, silence, secrets, and shame. Week 4, boundaries, a new love language, bargaining, triggers, and free passes. I'm going to put this, by the way, all in the iTunes description, but I did want to read these off to you. Let's see, week 5, grief and gratitude, grief, grace, and gratitude. 6, authentic relationship, codependency, control and connection. Week 7, coming home, identity, purpose, and power. And week 8, dare to dream, courage, vision, and plan. Now, I'm going to put something else out there for you, Mikki.
Okay, please do.
Anybody works in an agency that you would like Mikki to teach you her program or come to you right now during COVID, it would be virtual, I'm sure, but I'll leave that up to Mikki to decide. If you want to hire Mikki to come and teach you her program, contact her for that too.
Yeah,
so we're
sure.
talking right now about this 8-week journey for parents, but I want to let you know, because I'm going to be putting this on LinkedIn, that your agency can benefit from Mikki's expertise too. So consider hiring her for that. It's like, I have the experts of the world on my podcast. Take advantage of them. Okay, Joan, calm yourself. Just tap.
I know. Breathe. Take a big
Breathe. Take a breath.
Yeah.
So this is for parents of children with addictions, and also for those of you who have rehab centers that would like to try a different method. because as we say in the world of tapping, talk therapy alone is not enough. In my humble opinion, it just starts because it doesn't reach the 90% of us below the surface in our subconscious brain. But okay, I won't go there. She's got so much to offer. That's what I want to say. Mikki, how do people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me via my website. And are you going to put that on the screen, or should I say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, my website.
You want me to go back to the one that I showed before, The Journey of You, or another website?
No, that's just the landing page for that program. My website is www.mikkiproffitt.com.
I'm going to pull it up right now. Oh, but it still comes up. Okay, so I have to let go of the journey part.
Yep, let go of the journey.
Don't let go of Mikki's journey. I'm just letting go.
Yeah, please.
Let's get to Mikki here.
Yeah.
Don't
And you said something, Joan, that it takes such courage. And I just want to acknowledge that for a mom, a family to step up to the plate of honesty and honestly acknowledging that their child is an addict and that they can't do it the same way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It takes tremendous courage, and courage in its original Latin form means to speak your truth from your heart.
Oh, perfect. So here is Mikki's website, mikkiproffitt.com. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabulous. Just fabulous. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I did another podcast with Mikki about pink gloves. So you all scroll through, because go to YouTube and scroll down and you'll see all of the other podcasts that I've done with Mikki. So I love having talented people on my podcast. But this program is so important. I wanted to do this podcast today to get the information out there. So we are recording this on July 13th, and the program is going to start, Saturday the 18th or Sunday the 19th?
Saturday the 18th. It's
Saturday.
8 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings for 8 weeks, Pacific time.
Okay, so my job is to get this loaded and up ASAP. And if you are ready, parents, if you are ready to be honest and real, Mikki will help you let go. And I know some of you might be crying out there and might be tearing up, and that's okay. But you don't have to suffer anymore with this.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it alone. We are not meant to do this alone. This is a journey of many, because there are many parents out there that are suffering in silence, and it's time to break the silence. And addiction loves isolation.
Yes, isn't that the truth? And even Mikki's kitty cat in the background is encouraging you to call Mikki and sign up for the program.
That is a peacock.
It's a peacock.
It is a peacock.
Oh, it's not a kitty cat. It sounds like a cat. It's a peacock. I was going to say it's okay if the cat wants to zoom on and come on in, but it's a peacock.
It is a peacock, yes.
Raspberries. We'd love to see the peacock, but okay. Mikki, anything else that you want to share with everybody?
I think I just want to share. Can I read a little poem?
Please.
Okay. Yeah. Let me find this one. There's a couple I want to share. Let me say this while I'm finding it. The Lost Years is a book, a resource.
Hold that up a little bit more.
Lost Years.
Okay.
I have all my families read it. It's a very emotional read, but it's a true story about a mother and daughter and their journey together and apart, as the daughter was caught in the web of addiction. Okay. I have all of my families read it. And then the other one right here is called Tending Dandelions.
Ooh, maybe tilt the book down a little bit. No. Yeah, that's it. Because I'm getting the glare here. No, tilt it the other way. Tending Dandelions. Good.
Yeah, and I'll send you that information so you can put it.
Thank you.
But it's all kinds of words of wisdom from moms. Moms who have been where we're at.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So let me see here. I just want to end with this. Oh, I'll just close here. All right. There was a time when I was tricked, manipulated, and hated into helping the addict, placating, fearful, even groveling. My love crouched behind a mirage of wishful thinking. I can't see it very good. Lobbying out whatever it could to keep the addict happy. I believed that I was making things better somehow if I gave him or her money, let him or her use the car, believed their lies, or smiled when they hurt me. I so desperately wanted to demonstrate my love, even if my love was all twisted, but not anymore. My love has become straightened out. My love is no longer confused by delusion. The addict's hatred no longer has the power to get me all muddled up, because it's not the addict I hope will be grateful for my love. It's my child. My child is the one who needs my support. My child needs to see my strength, my devotion, my resolve. My child needs me to face down the worst enemy, not help it. My child is the one I want to see live beyond tomorrow. Then there's a quote, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to find it for yourself."
Yes. Beautiful.
So that's what it's about, finding our own power as our child either gets sober or doesn't.
Yeah. All right, everyone. I just want to say thank you, Mikki,
Yes.
for being so wise and sharing your program with everyone. And everyone who's listening and watching out there, I want to thank you for listening and watching, because this podcast would not exist without you. It's my joy and honor to bring you important information. So I'm eternally grateful for you listening to this. And please, I know there's someone out there that would benefit from this podcast. So please share this with someone you love. Okay? Share this with another parent, share this with whomever, but share it. And thank you everyone out there for listening and watching today. And stay tuned for the next amazing guest.